Games, prices, and the Switch 2. It's all everybody's talking about right now, like Mario Galaxy and Mario Galaxy 2 being $70 on Switch 1. We've got $50 Amiibo, and we've got a Direct that some people thought was the greatest, and some people thought was the worst, and a lot of people thought was in between. But I've been reflecting, and I really am shocked at what Nintendo is able to do. All right? They know that fans will pay whatever and will buy their stuff, and I wanted to really dig into why, because it's easy just to say like, hey, oh, Nintendo knows you'll pay. That's like a thing that's been around for a decade, 2 decades. But digging into it, when I see a Nintendo Direct and I'm like, I didn't love that Direct, C+, but I'm gonna buy most of the games, that's not how I would view or ever describe a C+ for another console. If I see a C+ PlayStation State of Play, it's like, I don't want any of that. To me, the games all feel jumbled together. It feels like a gooky mess of like games as services or just like another typical like action Souls-like. And I walk away saying it didn't have things for me. That's why I grade it low. Nintendo is different because this Direct, which was viewed by more people than even the Apple Worldwide Showcase, most of the stuff I'm buying. I want to buy Mario Tennis Fever and Age of Imprisonment and Metroid Prime 4 and Pokemon Pokopia and Pokemon Legends ZA and Hades 2 and Resident Evil 9, and the list goes on and on. So how could that be a low-rated Direct? And even when Nintendo says, hey, Mario Galaxy 2 is $40, we've got people like nickel and diming the footage trying to figure out like, okay, look, it is more of a remaster than a re-release. Look at how much better it looks than Mario 3D All-Stars. And everybody's like zoomed in trying to figure out, is it actually better? How much is it actually better? And then you got people saying like, well, guys, Metroid Prime Remastered was actually a remaster. That's what you should qualify as a remaster. And they're like, okay, well, it's not that level, but it's this level. And we all are doing the self-justification. And I do it myself because like I never spent enough time with Galaxy 2 and I haven't played it in a long time. So I want to play it on my Switch. So I give the Direct a C+. I say the games are overpriced, and yet I'm going to buy most of them. And I bet a lot of you are in the same boat. I mean, tell me if I'm wrong, but a bunch of you probably are out there right now saying, whatever you felt about the Direct, these games are expensive. They are kind of a re-release. Maybe I do wish that they revealed 3D Mario, but I'm going to buy the games anyway. And I don't know if that can be said for any other video game company. I think if another video game company comes out and doesn't drop something super awesome or super brand new, it usually feels like, well, yeah. But Nintendo has this interesting pattern, and they've created this psychology, or maybe they've earned it, where what they do is still tantalizing, exciting, and good enough that we still end up buying it. Now, I do think the Amiibo for $50 is a separate situation. I think Amiibo sales have gone down tremendously, so I'm going to box that one off in its own corner. I think the $50 Amiibo are stupid, and I don't think many people are going to buy them. But on the games front, I think all these games are going to sell pretty darn well, and I think the Switch 2 is going to continue being the fastest selling system and an amazing cash cow for Nintendo, and rightfully so. Do I think that the Switch 2 could be in a better spot? Do I think Nintendo could do more? Yes. Are they doing terrible? Absolutely not. And so what it boils down to psychologically is that there's such a tie to these characters and to these franchises, and Nintendo has so many that even a bad presentation can still yield fun. And I think what this made me realize was that, man, Nintendo is just a level above. They are cream of the crop when it comes to video game development because their bad era is still very fun. And that can't be really said about anybody else. Nintendo not doing what I think they can do, Nintendo not living up to the expectations I had, Nintendo not revealing big system sellers, and Nintendo not putting forth games that I feel really take full advantage of the Switch 2. Not just games with better frame rates, not just games with better, crisper resolution, but games as a design that take advantage of the power of the Switch 2. They don't really have that, and yet I think I'm going to have tons of fun with most of the stuff Nintendo puts out. So it is a piece of nostalgia, but there's also a quality where they've earned it. If it was just nostalgia and these games were poor, I don't think I'd feel this way, and I don't think a lot of you would feel this way. If it was that, Age of Imprisonment was this games as a service crap fest where you had to buy battle passes and monthly re-ups and things of that sort, I don't think we'd feel this way. If Mario Tennis Fever felt like a mobile game and was just a ho-hum tennis title with lackluster content, I don't think we'd feel this way. And so there is a part that is nostalgia, yes, that the haters and sort of the anti-Nintendo people like to say of, oh, you guys just like it because you liked it when you were little. But there's this other piece where they do a darn good job. Like Mario Galaxy 2 is a heavily wanted game because it's a great game, right? And the updates and improvements they're making to games like Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment, Metroid Prime 4, those, even Pokemon Legends, yeah, like those look really cool. They look like they're making strides in franchises and performance that we have asked for. And Nintendo fans have been asking for Galaxy and Galaxy 2, so when you see the price point, you say boo, and then you buy it. And Nintendo knows this, so there is a bit of a devious side, right? Like, yes, there's nostalgia, which is on us, and then there's the quality, which is earned by them, but then there's the knowing that fans will buy it anyways. How many of you watched a video this week about Nintendo overcharging and overpricing their stuff? We all probably did. And yet, none of these games are going to bring Nintendo a failure. None of these games are going to bring Nintendo a problem. And we could all try and say like, oh, we're not going to buy this because it's too much and we want to make a stand and you know, send a message to Nintendo. That's just not going to work. Why? Why is that not going to work? Why aren't people going to do that? Well, it's twofold, because we could never get enough people, and Nintendo knows that ultimately, even if you say online that drop the price, you don't like it, enough people will still buy it. And why? It's because the stuff is still very good. Nintendo has established a quality barometer that is just a cut above, I think. And Nintendo has established a whimsy, I think, that is missing in so many parts of the world, not just the gaming industry, but the world, that it's, I think, very addictive, very engaging, and very interesting, especially to the fan base and to those that are newly introduced. If you're a new player, right, you haven't played anything. I'm not talking about someone who's new to Nintendo but has played PS5. I'm talking about like a new player. So many new players gravitate towards Nintendo because it's fun and it's welcoming and it's wonderfully crafted. It's not just because it's baby games or it's easy first-timer games. It's because it's expertly designed and designed with a love and a passion. I think passion is a big word here, and it's something that often gets thrown around about Nintendo, but I really felt it this week. Of the passion for Nintendo is what drives me to say, you know what? These games are going to be fun, but I wish they did more. Because I wish Nintendo didn't just do just enough. I wish Nintendo didn't just rely on, hey, we've established this quality threshold, so we don't need to go above and beyond. I wish Nintendo didn't say, hey, people are going to buy it because they have nostalgic ties and these are great games, so we can charge what we want and we can release as we please. I wish Nintendo would go above and beyond and do the coolest thing possible. They just don't operate like that because they want to make the most money possible. And that bothers me because I don't like the world operating in that way. It's a sad truth of basically every business and every field, every industry. I just wish Nintendo would say, hey, you know, it'd be really sweet if we did a 3D Mario around the Mario movie because people would think that's cool. We could get away with not doing it. They'd still buy the stuff. There still would be enough people saying it's great. But do we have to do the littlest we can to achieve that result? Or do we have to do more? And maybe no company wants to do more, but I darn wish that some companies would. I wish the companies would see the potential of crossovers and make those happen. I wish companies would see the potential of dropping a game like Super Smash Bros. Melee on the GameCube service instead of introducing Virtual Boy to sell more SKUs. I wish a company like Nintendo would drop a 5-pack of Game Boy Advance games because they're just holding on to them rather than drip feeding and getting you to extend your membership because they know you will. I wish Nintendo would add more DLC to the Switch expansion pack instead of charging $20 for Donkey Kong Bonanza DLC. I wish Nintendo would do more, but the reason I wish they do more is not because I hate them, and not because I blindly follow them into the darkness. I have basically been told many times that I shill for Nintendo and that I hate Nintendo, which to me is the greatest way to know that I'm fair on Nintendo and I'm honest on Nintendo, because when you're told both opposites of the spectrum, you must be more in the middle. Some people think you hate them, some people think you love them blindly. I think I fairly treat them. I do have a nostalgia for Nintendo, but I'm not going to let that blind me. Yet at the same time, they've got me. But I don't think we should view it as they've got us in that they're pulling a scheme over us or that they're tricking us, as many outsiders would want us to believe. They say, oh, the reason you buy this stuff is because they've got you tricked, they've got you trained, they've got you conditioned. No, the reason we buy it is because we genuinely enjoy it and it genuinely is fun and the games are genuinely good. Even when they're not the games that we want, there's a few misses, sparingly, but usually Nintendo hits it, and Nintendo hits it well, and Nintendo hits it in a way that very few others are hitting it, right? Like we look at Astrobot, won Game of the Year because it was doing a Nintendo thing, not by Nintendo, and that was so exciting. No shade there, that game was great, I really enjoyed it, but it's doing a Nintendo thing, and not many people do a Nintendo thing, so it felt notable. Nintendo is doing that around the clock. And they're even doing that with my C Plus Direct, where they're releasing a bunch of games over the next 6 months that I'm very eager to pick up. And I will be there day one for most of them. I'm already planning to play Mario Galaxy 2 for my flight that I've got in October. I'm already planning to play Pokemon Legends ZA, despite not loving the Pokemon franchise all that much anymore. I'm going to give it a go. And Metroid Prime 4 looks like it's going to be one of my top 3 games of the year. That's a C Plus Direct. An A Plus Direct just is above and beyond, right? It's our fan favorites, it's the ones we want, and it's Nintendo doing more than they need to. Nintendo's need is very low. You might even argue that Nintendo's need is lower than other companies because they've established such quality. Nintendo throws out stinkers very rarely. They throw out gems more often than anybody, and so they know that their baseline is better than most people's try hard. But I don't really like living life like that personally, and I don't like that Nintendo operates in that way. And that's where the passion comes in of, hey, I know you guys can do better. I wish you would. I know you guys could put out killer lineup for the first year of Switch 2 and give people the system sellers they're asking for. I wish you would. I know that you could give us these GameCube games and GBA games online and give the DKB DLC, the Bonanza DLC, the Emerald Isles pack to us for free as part of our subscription. But you choose not to because you can do the bare minimum and get by. And their bare minimum is very good, like I said, so I'm not even mad about it. I more just wish if I sat there and made a direct, I would want to give the people the coolest thing possible. I'd want to do the best at every moment. And maybe there's something behind the scenes that prevents that. But I think more than anything, it is a bit of greed and it is a bit of smart business, which equals milking your audience for as much as you can with the least input. That's just, economics, right? That's business sense. That's red and black, and that's getting yourself into a profitable state. And I understand it. It's just a bummer. But I do feel that the reason that we're still hooked on Nintendo, that we're still buying these overpriced games, don't buy the Amiibo, set that one aside, but that, we're excited for the Switch 2 version of Switch 1 version of Wii games for Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 is because they're damn good games. And I don't think this works out if you're anybody else. I don't think this works out if you're bringing back mediocre games, or if you're releasing spin-offs that aren't so good, or if you're releasing a tennis game that doesn't seem like they actually leveled it up and responded to fans' asks from Mario Tennis Aces, giving you all the characters at once and giving you an adventure mode that harkens back to the Camelot days on the GBA. So we sit pretty even when we sit frustrated. And that's a privilege. Nintendo has really blessed us with a great gaming life, I think. And as frustrated as I might be with them, I hold them accountable in my eyes because I love them and because I'm passionate about it. And I wish and I want them to do better. And it's also possible to have a nuanced opinion where you think the Direct kind of stunk, but you're still excited for all the games. And I don't think there's any real point in blindly just saying everything is great and they're perfect and everything they release looks amazing and I'll eat the remakes and I'll eat the re-releases and it's good they didn't put out more GameCube games. I haven't even beaten the GameCube games they have out. Like, that to me is overboard. That to me is foolish. And that to me is just like, that's kind of being a shill. But if you genuinely feel that way and you just love everything they do without any criticism, I guess okay. I just know I'm going to keep being honest about Nintendo, but I'm going to keep loving them. And I think that's an important difference here. When I give a C+ to a Direct, I'm still super excited for the games. And that is a compliment and a testament to what Nintendo has achieved and what they continue to achieve. And why I think the Switch 2 is going to go on to eventually be a better system than the Switch 1. Given the third-party support, given the amazing indies already on there. I mean, Silksong and Hades 2 are probably going to be 2 of the best ever. And that's coming out on the Switch 2 within the first few months. And yes, do they have a ton of system selling exclusives? They don't. They will get here. In the meantime, I'm still going to have fun. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Do you agree with me? Am I way off my rocker? Let me know. Thanks so much for watching. In the meantime, stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, stay positive out there. Love you all lots. SwitchForce out.